Today we'll be looking at the Pythagorean theorem converse. So when we had the Pythagorean theorem, we said given a right triangle, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And when you have the converse, you start with the opposite. So if a squared plus b squared equals c squared, then we know it's a right triangle. So it's just flipping it around. So instead of finding missing side lengths, we're going to be given the three side lengths and then seeing if indeed a squared plus b squared equals c squared to see if it's a right triangle. So let's look at our first example. 8, 15, 17. 8 squared plus 15 squared equals 17 squared. 289 is equal to 289. That is a true statement. So yes, indeed, 8, 15, 17 is a right triangle. Our next example is 4, 12, 15. 4 squared plus 12 squared equals 15 squared. 160 is not equal to 225, so no, a triangle with the side lengths 4, 12, 15 is not a right triangle. And our next example is 6, 10, and 8. Now be careful here. We are not just going to take 6 squared plus 10 squared equals 8 squared. We always know that the c is the hypotenuse, is the biggest squared. So we need to say 6 squared plus 8 squared is equal to 10 squared. So we'll be careful that we always have the biggest side represented by c. And indeed 100 is equal to 100. So it is a right triangle. Could the following lengths represent the sides of a right triangle? So first we're going to look at the side lengths, 9, 12, 15. So 9 squared plus 12 squared must equal 15 squared. 9 squared plus 12 squared must equal 15 squared. 9 squared plus 12 squared is 225. Is that equal to 15 squared? It is. So in this case, 225 is equal to 225. So yes, it is a right triangle. Our next example, 3, 8, and 10. Again, we're going to make sure that c is the biggest side length here. So 3 squared plus 8 squared, is that equal to 10 squared? Well, let's see. 9 plus 64 is 73. Is that equal to 100? Is 73 equal to 100? No, so that doesn't form a right triangle. All right, our next example, we have 6, 6, and 12. Again, we're making sure that c is the biggest side. 6 squared plus 6 squared is equal to 12 squared. 36 plus 36, is that equal to 144? 72 is not equal to 144, so that is not a right triangle. And our final example, we have 20 squared plus 21 squared, making sure that my c, 29 squared, is my biggest side. I'm going to need my calculator on this one. So I'm going to say 20 squared, I know it's 400, plus 21 squared is 841. 841, is that 29 squared? Yes, it is. So 841 is equal to 841. So yes, those three sides form a right triangle. Right, a blueprint for a triangular patio has a measurement of 48, 14, and 50 feet. Will the patio be a right triangle? So let's look at our side lengths. We have 48, 14, and 50. Let's list them least to greatest. 14, 48, and 50. So is this triangle a right triangle? Well, does 14 squared plus 48 squared, does that equal 50 squared? Again, I'm going to need my calculator on this one. 14 squared plus 48 squared is 2,500. Is 50 squared 2,500? It is. So 2,500, doesn't want to write. 2,500 is equal to 2,500. So yes, it will form a right triangle. Ellen is buying edging for a triangular flower bed. If the lengths of the three pieces of the edging measure 13, 10, and 7, will the flower garden be a right triangle? So here are my three lengths. Let's list them least to greatest: 7, 10, and 13. In order to be a right triangle, 7 squared plus 10 squared must equal 13 squared. 49 plus 100 equals 169. So 149 is not equal to 169. So no, it will not form a right triangle. All right, number 7, a rectangular playground measures 24 by 32. You want to build a right triangular sandbox in the corner of the playground. If you have a board that's 40 feet long, is that possible? So let's think about that. I got a rectangle. All right. It's 24 by 32. And here's a diagonal. And they're saying that's 40. We didn't need a visual, but might as well do it. And now we're going to list our side lengths least to greatest: 24, 32, and 40. Is 24 squared plus 32 squared, does that equal 40 squared? That's 1,600. Does 40 squared equal 1,600? It does. So 1,600 is equal to 1,600. So yes, the board will fit.